If you give me 50 minutes, I will kill the habit that's been stealing your future. This isn't a speech, it's a mirror, a scalpel, and a command. If you've been drifting, delaying, or doubting yourself, that ends here. I will expose every excuse you've made and replace it with movement. Listen to the very end, and I promise you will not recognize the man who finishes this. You have waited long enough. Not because the path was blocked, but because you kept waiting for certainty, while greatness was waiting for your decision. You were not created to hesitate. No man is born to postpone. And yet millions die with their purpose still inside them. Not because they lack time, but because they misused it. If you don't act now, you will wake up in 5 years asking why you still feel behind. But if you receive what's coming, if you absorb it and obey it, you will gain in 50 minutes what others never gather in 5 decades: discipline. This is not another inspirational message. This is the end of your indecision. This is the final day you apologize to your potential. Because what you are about to hear is not theory, it is fire. Fire that will burn away your distractions, fire that will reforge your identity. In the next 50 minutes, you will be shown how to think, how to move, and how to kill procrastination at the root. You will be handed tools, rituals, and laws that will make stillness impossible and momentum automatic. If you're tired of stopping and starting, if you're done with watching others pass you by, then I say to you, listen with urgency. Listen like your destiny depends on it, because it does. As I have written before, procrastination is the assassin of destiny, dressed in the robes of wisdom. But you will no longer sit at its table. Today you pick up your sword. And by the end of this message, the man who delays will be gone, and the man who decides will rise. Procrastination does not enter a man's life with the noise of rebellion. It slips in as a trusted counselor. It wears the disguise of wisdom. It whispers like a friend. Not now, it says. Wait until you're ready, it suggests. Be careful, it warns. And in these seemingly reasonable utterances, it steals the very spark of destiny. You must understand this. Procrastination is not laziness. It is self-betrayal in disguise. It is not an external force that drags you away from action. It is an internal whisper that robs your fire while telling you it's protecting it. The greatest deception is that procrastination sounds like your own voice. It borrows your tone, it uses your words, and it comes wrapped in logic. That is why most men never confront it, because they cannot see it. They mistake it for caution. They call it planning. They label it being wise. But the truth is this. Every time you postpone your purpose, you shake hands with mediocrity. And no man ever built a crown by waiting for the storm to pass. He builds it while the thunder still roars. You must see that the word later is the most dangerous word in the language of a dreamer. Later has buried more visions than failure ever could. Later convinces you to delay that letter, that meeting, that workout, that decision. To put off once again the very thing that would move your life forward. It does not kill you quickly. It drains you slowly. And because the consequences are not instant, the danger goes unnoticed until 5 years pass, and you realize the door you were once called to has rusted shut. Understand this. Procrastination is not a discipline problem. It is an identity problem. A man who knows who he is and what he is here to build cannot sit still for long. He may pause, but only to sharpen his sword. He may rest, but only to rise again with clearer purpose. When a man delays his calling, it is not because he is tired. It is because he has not fully accepted his assignment. The moment your identity is aligned with your aim, movement becomes natural. But when you see yourself as a spectator to life, not its builder, delay becomes your normal rhythm. Consider Henry Ford. The world mocked him. Economists called him foolish. The public said the automobile would never replace the horse. Yet he did not ask permission to proceed. He acted. He began production while doubt still spoke. He built while others debated. And because he obeyed the vision before the applause arrived, the world now rides on the wheels of his audacity. Ford did not wait for confidence. He waited for nothing. He moved because his belief was louder than the opinions of those who stood still. To kill procrastination, you must first catch it. You must learn to identify the exact moments when it attempts to speak. There are 3 disguises it wears most often. First, it appears as false preparation. This is the lie that tells you you just need to learn a little more. Watch another video, read one more article, get one more opinion. It convinces you that one more step of study will make you ready, but the truth is you are postponing action with the illusion of learning. The real growth is in the doing. The lesson is in the leap year. Second, it appears as emotional negotiation. This is the voice that says, you're not in the right mood. You're too tired today. Wait until your energy returns. But what if your energy only returns after movement? What if your power is activated by your first act of obedience? You cannot wait for motivation. You must become your own source of motion. The man who acts despite his emotion becomes the master of it. Third, it appears as logical delay. It says, this is not the right time. There are too many moving parts, too many risks. You don't have all the pieces yet. But logic without faith is a jailer. If you wait for all the lights to turn green before you start the car, you'll never leave the driveway. Every man who built something eternal moved while some part of the picture was still unclear. The bridge appears only as you walk across it, not before. Now you must ask yourself, when does delay disguise itself in your life? Is it in the first hour of the morning, when the call to discipline loses to the pull of comfort? Is it in your relationships, where the conversation that must be had is pushed to next week? Is it in your business, where the bold idea remains trapped in your journal while the world waits for its birth? Do not condemn yourself for these moments, but do not excuse them either. Instead, catch them, name them, and refuse to obey them again. Here is your assignment. For the next 7 days, every time you hear the whisper of delay, say aloud, "That is not my voice. That is my enemy." Then move immediately. Send the message. Write the sentence. Take the action. And in doing so, you will begin to break the hypnotic spell of hesitation. Because procrastination cannot survive in the presence of decision, affirm this daily. I do not wait, I walk. I do not pause, I proceed. I do not rehearse defeat, I declare victory. When the voice of delay returns tomorrow, and it will, do not debate it. Destroy it. Let movement be your answer. And let this be the day you stopped sounding like your enemy and started walking like your name belongs in the annals of the courageous. The man who waits to feel ready will never build what he was born to build. He will sit quietly with genius locked in his bones, watching lesser men rise because they moved while he marinated in the swamp of hesitation. Understand this truth and let it sear your soul. Motivation does not precede movement. Movement births motivation. You are not to wait until you feel like moving. You must move and let feeling chase your footsteps. Too many men today lie to themselves beneath the banner of preparation. They tell themselves, I'm not ready yet. I don't feel inspired. I need to wait until I'm in the right mindset. This is not strategy. It is spiritual disobedience. You were not sent to feel, you were sent to build. If you allow your inner world to be governed by emotion instead of decision, your future will remain a fantasy. Consider Thomas Edison. There is no record of his emotions in the laboratory, no diary page where he confessed his lack of excitement, but there is record of 1,000 failures and record of his unyielding pursuit. Do you think he rose each morning inspired to be ridiculed again? Do you think joy greeted him every time an invention exploded in his face? Of course not. But he moved. He moved when it was dark. He moved when it was silent. He moved when the world said stop. And because he moved regardless of how he felt, History now moves with the light he gave us. It is not obedience to act when you feel good. It is obedience to act when you do not. That is the man heaven trusts. That is the man destiny crowns. Let us speak plainly. You are not stuck because you lack talent. You are not stuck because the door is locked. You are stuck because you have delayed action until you feel like it. But your feelings are not your master. You must break that chain now. For every day you wait to feel ready, your dream fades another degree into fiction. Command yourself. You are not a beggar. You are not waiting for approval from the invisible hands of inspiration. You are an architect of reality, and your tool is not emotion, it is decision. Build the life you speak of. Do not wait until the sun shines, until your friends support you, until the timing feels ideal. Move. Now and watch how the fire follows your feet. You must establish rituals that serve identity, not feeling. Begin each day not with reaction, but with command. Before the world can invade your space, you must establish your own dominion. Rise and write your definite chief aim. Put it in ink. Say it aloud. Let your spirit hear its assignment. Then declare the day. 3 goals, 3 targets, not vague wishes, but measurable victories. Do not ask yourself how you feel about them. That is irrelevant. The king does not consult emotion when war is on the table. He moves, and so must you. Before you eat, before you speak to another man, take one action toward your mission. Not planning, not mapping, movement. Send the message, build the outline, make the offer, launch the thing. This first act is not about the outcome, it is about the identity it solidifies. You are not the man who waits, you are the man who walks. Let these be your daily declarations, each spoken aloud with full authority. My mood does not determine my mission. Obedience first, emotion follows. I move and my soul follows the sound of my steps. You must understand, a man is not made by moments of glory, but by unseen acts of obedience repeated in silence. It is in the mornings no one claps for you. In the hours no one watches that kings are crowned. And in these silent choices, when the world would understand if you stayed still, you rise. You rise not because it is easy. You rise because it is who you are. If you feel tired, good. That means you are close. If you feel numb, move anyway. That means you are shedding the identity of hesitation. If you feel like quitting, speak your chief aim aloud and take the next step with defiance in your bones. The man who moves without waiting is the man who commands both time and result. He is the man heaven promotes. He is the man the world makes way for. Not because he is lucky, but because he cannot be stopped. So let this be the last day you ask your feelings for permission. Let this be the morning you stop praying for motivation and start moving as if you already possessed it. You are not waiting for readiness. You are the answer to the very prayer you've been whispering. You are not seeking power. You are walking in it. You are not hoping for a good day. You are commanding it. Say it again. My mood does not determine my mission. Obedience first. Emotion follows. Now rise, write your aim, set your targets, and take the first step. The crown belongs to the man who moves without excuse. You have been told a dangerous lie. You have been taught that belief must come first, that you must feel certain before you act, that you must wait for full clarity, full confidence, full conviction before building anything worthwhile. But here is the truth that sets builders free. Belief is not a prerequisite for action. Action is the evidence of belief. And no man will ever believe fully in a dream he refuses to move toward. The mind is not the master. The spirit is. And the spirit does not wait for intellectual proof. It commands movement. When your hands obey, the mind eventually follows. But if you wait for the mind to grant permission before you begin, you will never begin. Action installs belief. Deed rewires thought. Footsteps erase doubt. Let us take the example of Edwin C. Barnes, a man who had neither wealth nor fame nor public recognition. But what he had was enough. He had desire. He had decision. And most importantly, he had motion. He did not write to Edison asking for a role. He did not wait for a job listing. He did not delay for a perfect plan. He boarded a freight train with ragged clothes and no permission. And he declared in spirit what the world had not yet seen: I will be Edison's partner. Understand this. Barnes moved like a partner before he was one. He acted with the posture of possession before any contract was written. And it was this alignment of spirit and step that made him a partner long before the world acknowledged it. He did not wait to believe. He built. And belief caught up with his construction. You must build before you believe. The man who says, I'll take the first step when I'm sure it will work, is a man ruled by fear, not by faith. He is not unmotivated. He is undecided. And indecision is the great poison of potential. Do not wait to feel like a writer to write. Do not wait to feel like a leader to lead. Do not wait to feel like a builder to build. Every identity you dream of is not waiting for you to feel it. It is waiting for you to act it. And when your actions reflect the crown, your mind will begin to submit to your movement. Let me give it to you plainly. Your brain will only believe what your body obeys. The lie of hesitation is this: I am not ready yet. But let me ask you, when was the last time destiny checked if you were ready? When was the last time the mountain waited for you to feel bold? It never has, and it never will. Mountains move for the man whose footsteps echo with finality, not for the man who studies their height. So here is your assignment. Do not delay. Choose one act, one real, concrete, uncomfortable act toward your definite chief aim, and complete it today. Not tomorrow, not when energy returns. Today. That single act is not about perfection. It is about identity. And every time you choose movement, you reinforce that you are the man who walks. Start ugly. Start unsure. Start shaking if you must. But start. If you wish to believe, you must first behave like the man who already does. Do not confuse learning with becoming. Do not replace reading with doing. Too many men devour truth but never digest it into transformation. The pages of books cannot save you if they are not translated into motion. The world respects the man who moves, and heaven promotes the man who obeys his assignment without waiting for applause. Speak these words aloud every morning, even if your voice trembles, even if your spirit wavers. I am not becoming the man, I am revealing him. I move as if I already possess the crown. Because the truth is, you do. The crown was always yours. It has only been hidden beneath delay, excuses, fear, and false logic. But with each step, each word spoken in alignment, each unfinished task completed without the crutch of inspiration, you unveil him, the king, the conqueror, the architect of legacy. Let this part of the message drill deep into your soul. Every time you act in alignment with your higher identity, you silence doubt. You kill hesitation. You forge the belief that will soon become unshakable. The man you are becoming is not built in thoughts. He is built in movement. This is the hour you stop studying blueprints and start laying bricks. This is the hour you put down the pen and pick up the hammer. This is the hour belief becomes a shadow, chasing your footsteps. You must build before you believe. And if you move today, if you act not once but again and again, you will find that your belief did not precede your action, but was born by it. So rise, choose the act, complete it, and let today be the day your belief is not spoken but seen. There is a man the world cannot resist. He does not ask. He does not wait. He does not submit his destiny to committee. He moves. While others deliberate, he declares. While others await confirmation, he advances. While others seek permission, he builds. The world does not yield to the most gifted, the most polished, or the most approved. It yields to the man who moves without waiting to be told he may. Success has never bowed to caution. It has never handed itself over to the man who waits for applause. It has never been seduced by humility that is really hesitation dressed in religious robes. If you have been taught that playing small is virtuous, that waiting your turn is wisdom, that hiding your voice is maturity, You have been taught to bury your crown. Let us be plain. Procrastination is rarely honest. It does not always show up as laziness or rebellion. It arrives as caution. It arrives as reason. It arrives as a false sense of preparation. And it whispers not that you are incapable, but that you must wait until you are certain, until you are approved, until someone opens the gate and waves you forward. But no gate exists. The road is yours to pave. Let us take the case of Andrew Carnegie, who spoke of his industrial empire before there was one. He walked and talked and built as if the city of steel was already breathing, not because he was arrogant, but because he understood the law of boldness. Destiny moves around the man who moves without permission. It is not rebellion, it is obedience to higher calling. You do not need to feel ready to begin. You do not need validation to speak. You do not need consensus to act. The man who waits for approval builds nothing. The man who waits for applause writes no history. The man who waits for his turn is forgotten when his turn never comes. Burn the idea that you must be granted the right to rise. The truth is, the very breath in your lungs is your license. If you are alive, you are assigned. And your next step, spoken, taken, completed, is not a suggestion. It is a requirement. This is not arrogance. This is alignment. Heaven does not crown the hesitant. It commissions the committed. You must move without permission. You must speak aloud your mission before anyone agrees. You must step forward as if the road exists, because it will be made as you move. This is how spiritual law works. Motion summons miracle. Do not ask the world what it thinks of your dream. Do not submit it to polls, to panels, to peers. Speak it, build it, and correct the course in motion. If you fall, rise. If you err, adjust. But never delay your divine instructions, waiting for human consensus. Install this as your daily ritual. Begin each morning by declaring aloud your definite chief aim, then walk as if it were already manifest. Speak to clients before you feel qualified. Write the pages before you feel like an author. Build the system before anyone invests. Become known to yourself before the world knows your name. And when doubt knocks, when silence mocks, when those closest to you do not understand, do not explain, do not retreat, repeat your vow, repeat your assignment, speak your aim again, not because they believe it, but because you do. Declare now, not tomorrow. Act now, not when ready. Move now, not when praised. Here are 5 identity anchoring affirmations for the man who walks boldly without seeking permission. I'm the type of person who moves even when no one claps. I'm the type of person who builds while others wait. I'm the type of person who is persistent when the world resists. I'm the type of person who is focused when others drift. I'm the type of person who is disciplined before the reward arrives. Repeat them not once, but until your cells obey, until your breath echoes them in silence, until the world, confused by your certainty, begins to shift around you. History does not remember the passive. It does not reward the polite. It does not enshrine the well-behaved. It crowns the man who decided and walked. So walk. With no applause, with no certainty, with no permission, just purpose, just fire, just the assignment carved into your bones before you were born. You do not need approval. You are already appointed. Now move. There is no key more powerful, no principle more certain, and no law more exact than this. Persistence opens the door that talent only knocks on once. If you have wondered why your dream has not answered you, why the vision tarries, why the reward has not arrived, it is not because the dream is false. It is because you have not knocked long enough. The universe does not yield to the curious. It yields to the convinced. Consistency is the architect of greatness. Not brilliance, not emotion, not bursts of effort followed by valleys of slumber, but daily obedience to a mission, even when unseen, unpraised, unrewarded. Greatness does not applaud the man who works when he feels like it. It crowns the one who builds without pause, without explanation, without escape. Do you remember how Manuel El Quezon fought not only against an empire, but against silence, bureaucracy, and delay? He did not cry for liberty and expect it to fall from heaven. He knocked daily, diplomatically, strategically, not with outbursts of emotion, but with the discipline of repetition. He spoke of the Filipino nation's right to govern itself again and again in rooms that did not yet echo agreement. Repetition, not inspiration, moved the gates. Let me remind you of the principle of autosuggestion, which I have taught in Think and Grow Rich. The subconscious mind does not obey intention. It obeys repetition. It does not respond to wish. It responds to command. And the most powerful commands are those given daily at the same hour, in the same voice, with the same conviction. The mind must be impressed repeatedly, not once, not when you feel like it, but every day. You must create a sacred hour, 1 hour daily, at the same time, in the same place, devoted to the building of your purpose. It is not emotional, it is not negotiable, it is spiritual, a holy altar of labor. You may not feel ready. You may not feel inspired. That does not matter. The man who waits for readiness is ruled by mood. The man who obeys ritual is ruled by decision. This is the hour in which you write. This is the hour in which you plan. This is the hour in which you study, sell, serve, call, construct, create. And if your life does not yet feel like it is progressing, the reason may not be that you are weak. It may be that you are inconsistent. You show up for your calling on Monday, then you disappear. Then you beg heaven for a breakthrough, but heaven trusts the man who shows up without excuse. Let us recall the lesson of persistence from Think and Grow Rich. I wrote that riches do not respond to wishes. They respond only to definite demands backed by definite plans and sustained through persistence. And I also told the story of the man who stopped 3 feet from gold, a man who had the right equipment, the right direction, the right idea, but quit just before success struck. Why? Because he lacked persistence. The enemy of persistence is not failure, it is comfort. It is the illusion of trying hard enough. But the man who succeeds never tries. He commits. He builds even when the wind resists. He returns to the mine even when others have left. He knocks and knocks and knocks until the door surrenders out of respect for the man who refused to leave. You must now become that man. Build your sacred hour. Choose it. Name it. Guard it. In that hour, you will begin by reading aloud your definite chief aim. Then you will take one action. Write 1 page, make 1 call, build 1 piece. Then you will thank the invisible for already opening the door. And you will do this every single day. Let me offer you a reminder. Success is a war of attrition. Most men are defeated not by resistance, but by inconsistency. The road is not blocked, it is simply long. And those who endure it daily, brick by brick, inch by inch, will wake up surrounded by walls they do not remember building, but build they did, and the fortress stands. Speak these words aloud daily, until they are more natural than doubt, louder than fear, and truer than your past. I'm the type of person who knocks until the door breaks open. I'm the type of person who works even when no one watches. I'm the type of person who outlasts hesitation. I'm the type of person who does not need to feel it to finish it. I'm the type of person who turns repetition into royalty. Say them while tired, say them while unsure, say them while afraid, but do not skip the day. For the door does not open to the man who knocked once. It opens to the man who returned again and again, until the wood cracked from reverence. Do not underestimate the power of this daily hour. The next time you say nothing's changing, ask yourself, have I knocked today? Have I shown up? Have I demanded of life with consistency? And if not, return to the door, knock again, because the world does not yield to the man who wants. It yields to the man who returns. Let us speak plainly. The greatest cost of procrastination is not the dream you delay. It is the man you betray. For every time you say tomorrow and do not act, you do not simply lose time, you lose trust with your own soul. This is the hidden war that no clock can measure and no man can ignore. Delay is the quiet destruction of your integrity, and the soul, once convinced that its voice holds no power, will go silent, and that silence is the birthplace of all failure. A man is not held back by circumstance. He is held back by self-distrust, forged by 1,000 whispered lies to himself. I'll begin tomorrow. I'll try harder later. I'll change when I feel ready. Every time you say these words and do not follow through, your inner authority weakens. The voice within you, the one tasked to command your future, loses credibility. And eventually, when you truly need your courage, it will no longer answer your call. Not because it died, but because you taught it not to speak. Remember what I taught you in Think and Grow Rich. Repetition is the master key to the mind. It is the means by which identity is formed, by which belief is built, by which character is carved. But let me now give you the other side of that law. Repetition also builds defeat when used against your higher self. Repeating hesitation forms habit. Repeating delay forms identity. And repeating broken promises creates a man whose word to himself is no longer sacred. You must understand the principle of integrity not as morality, but as power. Integrity is not simply doing the right thing. It is being able to look your reflection in the mirror and say, "You are who you said you would be." Without this, you cannot rise. You cannot command. You cannot execute. For if the general cannot trust his own command, the army within him will never march. Let us consider Thomas Edison. He failed more than 1,000 times while trying to invent the electric light. 1,000 attempts without applause, without reward, without result. And yet he persisted, not because he was certain of the result, but because he was certain of himself. Edison never broke faith with the voice within. Each morning he showed up, not for the public, not for the profit, but because he refused to train himself into cowardice. He understood that the soul remembers and the soul records. Now I ask you, what does your soul remember about you? Do you keep your word, not to others, but to yourself? Do you begin what you vowed to begin? Do you rise when you said you would? Do you execute what you've declared, even when no eye watches and no cheer rises? If you do not despair, but do not ignore it either. Begin this day with a simple tool I call the integrity ledger. On one side, write, promise to myself. On the other side, write, kept or broken. Each day, record. Did you rise when you said? Did you build? Did you commit? Did you execute? Do not use this to shame yourself. Use it to awaken yourself. For once a man sees his record, he can no longer pretend that delay is harmless. Now let me introduce you to a force greater than hesitation, greater than fear. Let me tell you of the other self. There are two men in every man. The one who speaks loudly in public, but breaks quietly in private, and the one who is silent in boast, but strong in execution. The first is governed by emotion, applause, and energy. The second is governed by decision, obedience, and repetition. This second one is the other self, the higher nature within you that waits for command, not motivation. The other self does not need feeling to move. It only needs orders. Most men never activate this force because they never stay consistent long enough for it to arise. It is not summoned by inspiration. It is revealed through obedience. Each time you obey your daily plan, each time you rise without excuse, each time you declare your definite chief aim aloud and act upon it regardless of mood, you are calling forth the other self. And once that self awakens, the old you begins to die. The other self is decisive. He does not delay. The other self keeps promises, not for applause, but for alignment. The other self moves when no one watches. He is not moved by setbacks. He is summoned by them. He does not wait for confidence. He commands it. This self cannot be faked. He can only be forged. And the forge is repetition. This is why your integrity ledger is not a notebook. It is a mirror. When filled daily, it will show you who leads your life, your emotion or your essence. If you find too many broken lines, then you are ruled by the man who postpones. But if you begin keeping your word, one by one, day by day, the voice of your other self will begin to speak, and soon it will roar. Let me leave you with this challenge. Tonight, write one vow to yourself. Just one. It can be small. I will rise at 6. I will write for 30 minutes. I will declare my aim aloud. But whatever it is, do not break it. Do not permit delay. Do not permit compromise. For this one act may be the first time in years that your soul watches you and says, "He meant it." When that happens, a door will open within you. A man will emerge. Not a new man, but the man you were always meant to be. The man who has lived dormant under delay. The man who will no longer ask the world for permission. The man who no longer needs a reminder, because his character is the reminder. Say these words with me now, and say them until they bury your excuses. I keep my vow, even in silence. My word to myself is law. Every act of obedience rewrites my reflection. Delay is not just time lost, it is trust lost. I rise because my identity demands it. Repeat them daily. Repetition is not just how we learn, it is how we transform, because the crown does not fall on the man who delays. It rests on the one who never breaks faith with his own voice. There is a voice that speaks in every man when the hour of action arrives. It does not shout, it whispers, cloaked in elegance, dressed in reason, lined with intelligence. This voice offers not truth, but escape. It says you are tired. It says it is not the right time. It says you need more knowledge, more rest, more understanding. It dresses itself in the garments of caution, but it is not caution, it is cowardice. This voice, my friend, is the language of the weak, and you must destroy it. Excuses are not merely obstacles. They are oaths to failure spoken with conviction. They sound intelligent. They sound mature. They sound reasonable. But they are none of these things. They are lies. Elegant lies that chain men to average lives. The truth is brutal, and here it is. No great man in history ever rose to his calling by explaining why he could not rise, not once, not ever. Think of Abraham Lincoln, a man plagued with deep sorrow, doubt, and relentless waves of loss. He faced rejection after rejection, failure after failure. Death stalked his family. Depression stalked his mind. But nowhere in the chapters of his story will you find him bowing before the altar of excuse. He was not a man with privilege. He was not polished by wealth or surrounded by favor. He was shaped by fire. And still he did not yield. His pain did not become his permission to stop. It became the reason he continued. Theodore Roosevelt, sickly and frail, could have lived a life of quiet retreat. His body rebelled against him from youth. Yet that same man chose to conquer mountains, charge into battle, and lead a nation. Not in spite of his pain, but because of it. His excuse could have been his story. Instead, it became his platform. And what of Henry Ford? A man mocked by the established order of transportation, laughed at by experts, dismissed by titans. The horse, they said, would never be replaced. He heard the scorn of the elite, the doubt of scholars. Yet he did not retreat into reason. He rose with resolve. He built, not because the road was clear, but because he refused to explain his delay. He moved. Do you understand this yet? Excuses are not symptoms of weakness. They are decisions to remain weak. You see, intelligence alone is not power. If it were, then the librarians of this world would hold its wealth. If knowledge alone built empires, then every scholar would sit on a throne. But they do not. Because what builds destiny is not what you know. It is what you do despite what you feel. It is what you obey in defiance of doubt. It is what you build when reason says rest. The world honors action, not explanation. Now let us be plain with ourselves. Let us call the excuses by name. Here are a few you may have spoken, perhaps today. I'm too tired. I don't have the resources. Now's not the right time. I need more clarity. I'm not ready yet. These are not reflections of reality. They are rehearsals of retreat. They are mantras for men who have forgotten who they are. Each excuse you allow strengthens the habit of retreat and weakens the discipline of greatness. You cannot afford another day in that state. So I give you now a ritual to dismantle every excuse before it can speak. From this moment forward, when an excuse enters your mind, you will take one act of obedience within 10 seconds. Tired? Move anyway. Uncertain? Act in the direction of clarity. Not motivated? Declare your chief aim aloud and begin. Do not wait for your feelings to catch up. Feelings follow action, not the other way around. 10 seconds. That is the window. That is the war. Win it, and your life will change. If you say, I don't have time, write the first sentence of your goal. If you say, I don't know where to start, take one step in any direction. If you say, it won't work, then do it until it works. Let me remind you of this eternal truth. Heaven does not promote the man who crafts beautiful reasons for delay. It crowns the one who moves anyway. No applause, no permission, no perfect timing, just obedience. Now I give you 5 identity affirmations. These are not poetic phrases. They are armor. They are to be spoken aloud, daily, especially when excuses rise. I'm the type of person who does not negotiate with excuses. I'm the type of person who moves before I feel ready. I'm the type of person who finishes what he starts. I'm the type of person who builds while others talk. I'm the type of person who replaces delay with discipline. Do not whisper them. Declare them. For repetition is not mere practice. It is identity programming. Every word you say aloud is a decree to your subconscious. Every sentence is a script. And you are either scripting victory or scripting retreat. Choose this day what language you live by. Your mission is clear. Catch every excuse. Replace it with action. Declare your identity aloud. And never ever explain again why you have not moved. That time is over. You are not a man who pauses. You are a man who produces. Because the world does not yield to reason, it yields to resolve. There is a deceitful comfort that has enslaved countless men. Its name is ease. It offers no pain, no pressure, no fire. It simply asks you to rest, to wait, to try again tomorrow, and many men obey. Not because they are wicked, not because they are incapable, but because they have not yet understood that comfort is the coffin of destiny. No man was sent here to be soft. No man was sent here to be small. And yet millions perish with potential unspent because they believed the lie, that they could rise without resistance. Let me say it without apology. Your crown will never be handed to you in a moment of ease. It will be hammered upon your head in the furnace of discomfort. Pain is not a curse, it is a compass. It does not come to stop you, it comes to signal that you are near the gates of progress. Look at the men who have carved themselves into the memory of history. Ford did not wait for applause before he defied the world's obsession with the horse. He faced ridicule, economic failure, and sleepless nights, but still moved. Why? Because the man he saw in his mind was more real than the criticism at his feet. Andrew Carnegie did not inherit ease. He walked into fire, economic collapse, hostile competition, public attack, and he smiled because he understood that steel is not forged in cool wind. Barnes slept on floors not because he enjoyed it, but because he knew the softness of a bed was not worth the sacrifice of a throne. Quezon faced entire empires with a trembling hand, but an unshakable spirit because he understood liberty is never granted to the man who waits for ideal conditions. You must stop waiting for permission. You must stop looking for comfort. The time has come to command yourself into discomfort, deliberately, repeatedly, and daily. Not because you hate ease, but because you love who you are becoming. That man, the one who finishes what he starts, who walks while bleeding, who moves when others moan, is not born in a day. He is built brick by brick, in the fire of deliberate struggle. Let me be direct. Procrastination is not your greatest enemy. Smallness is. It is the version of you that remains half-built because it avoided the burn. That voice that says, rest more, wait longer, next week is better. That voice is not love. It is sabotage dressed in softness, and it must be silenced. Here is your charge. Each day you will confront one act of resistance. It does not need to be large, it only needs to be uncomfortable. Wake earlier than your body wants. Begin the task you've delayed. Speak the truth you've silenced, and in that discomfort you will discover what ease could never reveal. Power. Not imagined power, not future power, present power. The kind of power that builds kingdoms, moves markets, commands respect, and alters history. You will not always see results immediately, and that is by design. Because greatness is not loud, it is quiet, it is disciplined, it is invisible repetition becoming undeniable presence. Remember this, the harvest does not come in the season of planting, but every strike of the hoe, every drop of sweat, every act of obedience, that is the work of kings. Let the world mock you. Let them laugh while you labor. Let them slumber while you build. Because when the mountain is climbed, it is not the man who waited for comfort that will stand at the summit. It is the man who welcomed pain as proof, who bled without begging, who moved without mood, who forged himself into something even storms could not shake. Today you build. Not because it is easy, but because it is essential. Today you conquer delay, not because you are ready, but because you are required. Today you rise, not because of applause, but because your identity demands it. Speak these affirmations aloud. My future is not forged in comfort, but in conquest. I welcome the weight that proves my identity. I outlast weakness because I obey strength. Comfort is my enemy. Pressure is my proof. Each step into discomfort is a step into destiny. This is not the end. This is the edge. Cross it daily. Walk in it fully. Speak from it boldly. And never, never ask for ease again. You have listened, you have nodded. Perhaps you have even underlined sentences or repeated affirmations aloud. But all of that must now yield to one final truth. Motion is the measure of belief. Until you act, nothing changes. Until your hand obeys what your mind knows, you are not a builder. You are a bystander. This is not judgment. This is your awakening. It is time to make the abstract tangible, the dream practical, the desire accountable. You must now write your definite chief aim, not in passive tones, not as a wish, but as a mandate, clear, active, specific. You are not allowed to say, I want to, or I hope to, or someday I will. No. You will say, I am building, or I am creating, or I earn, or I lead, or I command. The language of movement is the language of manifestation. The world does not yield to the uncertain. It yields to the clear. Write it as if the world has no choice but to obey, because it doesn't. Do not write this aim on any ordinary scrap of paper. Take a clean sheet, use your best pen, print it with power, and once written, place it where you will see it before the day has a chance to seduce you into drift, on your mirror, on your desk, or in your wallet. This is not decoration. This is your decree. Your mind must bow to your words before your world will. You are building a new man, and that man needs marching orders. Beneath your chief aim, write 3 daily actions that obey it. Not vague gestures, not passive rituals. 3 specific tasks that move the dream forward 1 inch at a time. If your aim is to build a business, then write, call 1 client, publish 1 page, study 1 hour of industry wisdom. If your aim is to lead your household, then write, speak life into your spouse, plan for your children, eliminate 1 distraction. These 3 acts are not optional, they are sacred. They are the proof of your seriousness. Now comes the part most men avoid, the part that makes the difference between the rare and the forgotten. You must practice this mandate for 21 days, then 90, then forever. No missed days, no forgiveness, only fire. You do not skip declarations. You do not skip motion. If the sky falls, you write. If the storm howls, you move. If fatigue begs, you whisper, not today. There is no backup plan. There is no other path. There is only obedience. You will stumble. You will be tempted. You will be told to take it easy, to give yourself grace, to be more balanced. Let the others say that. You are not others. You are not average. You are not fragile. You are forged. And forged men do not beg for escape. They demand endurance. Here is what I want you to do. Tonight, before the day closes, write your definite chief aim. Read it aloud. Tomorrow morning, read it again, then act. 3 things. Small or great, just don't miss. Keep a ledger if you must. Track your fire. Make your life accountable to your identity. At the end of 21 days, do not ask how you feel. Ask only, did I move? Then do it again. 90 days, then again, forever. Do this, and the man you were will die quietly. In his place will stand someone decisive, dangerous, disciplined. Not because of magic, because of obedience, because of motion, because of a mandate that refused to be forgotten. Now write it, say it, move on it, every day, no matter what. This is the final war, not the one outside of you, not the one with circumstances or critics or competition. No, this is the war within. The last battle is always with the man who waits, the quiet deceiver, the whisperer of delay, the shadow self that wears your voice and tells you, not yet, soon, later. But you must hear me now. There is no later. There is only what you do today. And if you fail to move now, your future will become nothing more than your memory's funeral. The man you were meant to be will be buried beneath the excuses you fed him. You have heard many truths in this speech, but the greatest of them is this: repetition is the mother of identity. Autosuggestion is not mere ritual, it is reprogramming. The world has hypnotized you with doubt, with fear, with comfort. But now you must reverse the spell. You must speak daily, not when it's easy, but especially when it's hard. You must declare the man before the world will see him. You must tell your body who it serves. Tell your mind who it obeys. You must not wait to believe. You must repeat until belief becomes law. Say it now. I'm the man who has discipline. Say it again. I'm the man who has discipline. One more time. I'm the man who has discipline. This is not emotion. This is command. You are not pleading with the universe. You are instructing it. And if you continue to do this, morning by morning, hour by hour, you will discover that the man who once delayed is no longer at the helm. You have removed him. You have replaced him. Understand this clearly. All progress begins when the man who delays is dethroned. All greatness is birthed when decision finally takes the crown. You are not becoming, you are revealing. The seed has always been there, the voice has always been there. But it is motion, daily, decisive motion, that makes the invisible visible. Every act of discipline uncovers more of the man that heaven intended. Every time you show up, you are not adding something new. You are uncovering what was always yours. If you fail now, it will not be because you lacked opportunity. It will be because you allowed the old voice to whisper again. The same voice that said, wait until you're ready. The same voice that said, be careful. Think it over. Try again later. But now that voice must die. You cannot build a future while feeding your enemy. So here is your charge. Divorce the man who delays. Bury him. Strip his name from your thoughts. Burn every bridge that leads back to hesitation. You are not a man who waits. You are a man who moves. And every time you move, the world shifts around you. Your future bends. Your name is written, not in ink, but in fire. Let others wonder. Let others wait. Let others waver. Not you. Not now. You were not born for drift. You were born for dominion. And dominion does not belong to the hesitant. It belongs to the decided. Declare it again. I'm the man who has discipline. Say it before you sleep. Say it before the day begins. Say it when doubt returns. Say it until the words are no longer spoken, but lived. And now, go move. This is no longer a message. It is your mirror. You have no excuse. You have no time to waste. One page, one call, one decree. Begin it now, and do not stop. The man who moved has already won.